6 years? 6 years? What is up, guys? Dell here. So, as you know, one of my favorite games of all time, probably my favorite indie game of all time. I've spoken about it before on the channel. It's a game called Celeste. I've streamed it before, I've talked about it before, I've spoken about it on the top 10 essential Switch games video. If you haven't seen it, you can click right here, you can watch it. It's a banger, I promise you. But anyway, Celeste. As we all know, Celeste was a game that came out in 2018. It's a platform game developed and published by indie studio Maggie Makes Games. The player controls Madeline, a young woman with anxiety and depression, who aims to climb Celeste Mountain. So if you've never played the game before, yes, it's essentially a platformer, and you gotta climb all the way up to Celeste Mountain. You play as this girl, Maggie, as I mentioned before. This girl has anxiety, has depression, has panic attacks. And it's funny because when I played this game, I didn't play it the same year that it came out. I actually played it in 2019 going into 2020. And as we all know, a global pandemic was going on during 2020. And I played this at the perfect time. Just to go into a little bit of my own story with Celeste, at the time, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. I was dealing with a lot of depression. I'm a social butterfly. And the pandemic forced us to stay inside, so we couldn't really be around people. And because we couldn't be around people, we had to stay inside with our own thoughts and our own feelings. And for some of us, that was damaging. So I started playing this game around that time, and I don't know what caused me to download it. I think maybe I was watching a YouTube video of like good Switch games or something like that. But I ended up playing this game, landing on this game. And it's exactly what I needed. This girl was going through the same stuff I was going through, the same feelings that I was going through at the time. I mentioned this before, but this is the only video game that I've played all the way through, straight through. First time playing it, from start to finish, I completed the mission in one day. I think it took me like 7 hours, which is around the normal time to beat the game. And as I've replayed it over and over, I can probably beat it in like maybe 3 hours now. All that to say, I spent a lot of time with the game, and this game is one of my favorite games. It's fantastic soundtrack, game design, level design, gameplay. It is just a masterpiece. It really is a masterpiece. I think it won a lot of awards when it came out as well. So it's a great game. But to celebrate its 6th year, it looks like the developers have released this little thing called Celeste 64. So this Celeste 64 is basically the same game, kind of. You get to relive it, but it's a 3D platformer now, and it was created in a week by the Celeste team to celebrate the game's 6th anniversary. It's basically a marriage between Super Mario 64 and the actual Celeste game. And I played a little bit of it, and my gosh, it is a totally different game, and it's just so much fun. This really is a love letter to like Mario 64. The level design is very Nintendo 64-ish. That whole world is very minimal, but it's still so aesthetically pleasing. For those of us that grew up around that time, it's hella nostalgic. And you know, I think there's something to be said about the passion and the love that goes behind making a game like this. You don't see stuff like this from the big companies. There's a lot of passion that goes behind something like this. I mean, they didn't have to make this. They did it because the developers love what they do. They really love the game, and they really love the fans, and are very thankful. And that's something that you really don't see with these big companies, because they're big companies, they're big corporate companies. They don't have the same passion, the same heartfelt energy that it takes to create something like this for the fans. My only sadness is that this is only available on Windows and Linux. I feel like this would be a perfect Switch game. This game would feel so at home if it was on the Nintendo Switch. Imagine going portable with this game. You're in a car ride, you're in a bus ride, wherever you are, you're at somebody's house that you don't want to be in. So you take out your Switch and you play Celeste 64. Whoa. Whoa. Feel right at home. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to make this short little video about Celeste 64. If you'd like to check it out, the link is in the description down below. Remember to like and subscribe, hit the little bell so that way you can be notified every time we drop a new video. But anyway, that's all for this video, guys. See you later, you moblins.